let's talk the FA Cup semi-final, the never-ending battle between Liverpool and City. I was expecting a game.
Yeah.
Instead, I see the City lineup, and I'm like, and it's 3-0 at halftime.
Okay.
Now, I got no problem with it.
Are you sure? Seems like you have.
No. I have no problem with it because ultimately, for all the yak that people make, there are trophies that are bigger than others. And Pep Guardiola's first goal is to win the Champions League. His second goal is to win the Premier League.
Would you say so?
Okay, I know. To Man City fans, I
No,
know you guys are like,
no.
I think he's won plenty of Premier League titles. He hasn't won as many Champions League titles without Messi as you have, or I have, which is 0.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, however you want to prioritize it, but it's certainly not winning another FA Cup.
Yeah.
Right? So, I can understand the fatigue thing. I can understand the changes. And I can also understand how Liverpool are a really good side. They rested everybody against Benfica, whereas City had that energy-sapping psychodrama against Atletico Madrid. Is it as simple as that?
Well described. I think you've made some very, very good points. And I think it's a shame about the FA Cup because at this stage of the season, timing can be so crucial and so key in terms of, say, the mood, the mentality, and so on. Because that game on Wednesday against Atletico, the game it wasn't like the game finished and everything was all right again. There was going to be a knock-on from that. And it's a shame that for them, the next game was going to be in the FA Cup, and it was going to be against Liverpool, a Liverpool side who'd rested players, as you said, in midweek in the Champions League, which is an incredible thing to do, subtly, by the way.
They earned the right to do it by whooping them in the first leg, whereas City, in the first leg, only scored 1 goal against Atletico Madrid.
Exactly. Yeah. But in my opinion, even if they were 2 up or 3 up against Atletico, that second leg was going to be one of those games anyway, because it's Atletico in that stadium. That's who they are. So it was never going to be an easy game, especially with Atletico as an underdog. They love that. That's the whole system. That's the whole mentality. So it's a shame that happened. But this happened last year with City because they played a semi-final again against Chelsea when Chelsea were in a very good moment. And they made changes for that and lost it. And I think there's a sense of disappointment because when you see them make changes and you see the games that came before, you kind of have a rough idea of what type of performance you're going to get. But in this time, you're playing against Liverpool, who have got their strongest team out, basically, barring maybe Henderson. And Matip, you could say as well. And you know exactly what they're going to provide for you. But with the sort of lineup that City had, for as good as players as they are, you can't really predict the performance itself. And I think you saw that in the first half. Well,
this brings to another point, I think, with City, with the issue of fatigue, which is something that's come up. And obviously, people come out, and we'll get into this more later, and say, but the professional athletes, blah, 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 they play a game, they get paid. But the reality is, I don't think City have this enormous squad. They may spend more money than anybody else on players.
Do you think everyone has an enormous squad? Does anyone have an enormous squad?
I think, for example, Chelsea, have simply more viable bodies. And I think the thing about City, which a lot of people seem to forget, is they have 2 fewer players than they started out the season with. One is Ferran Torres, who of course was sold in January, and the other one is Benjamin Mendy, who's gone for other reasons, as we know.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys go, they don't get replaced. And I think if there is some criticism to be made of the club, guys, just in terms of bodies, just so I don't have to see Nathan Aki playing at left back.
You say this though, but it feels more apparent when they lose and they don't play well, which when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, isn't often. It's not often.
Okay, it was on Saturday.
Yes.
They didn't play well. I don't think they played particularly well against Manchester City at all. Sorry, against Atletico Madrid.
But they won the game, nonetheless.
Well, no, they drew.
Oh, no, it was in the tie, sorry. They won the tie.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But I'm saying is, you can tell this is not what Pep Guardiola wants. Wants to play. And I wonder if, when he looks back, he says, you know what? Another body. I don't need to spend $100 million to replace Mendy with the other Mendy around Madrid or somebody really good.
Yeah.
I just need a body. I need a body for Ferran Torres.
I don't know, because like with the Mendy one, you do have Zinchenko, and Zinchenko didn't play that well on the weekend. Like,
Yeah,
that's
you'd
a
almost
fact.
think there's like a war going on in his country.
But he did. Like, the fact that he didn't play well doesn't mean that you needed another body to be covering for his body.
Why do we have 25-man squads in the Premier League if people don't take up the allocation? And
that's the dangerous thing, that Gab. That's a dangerous thing when only 11 people play. There's a lot of people who be getting paid to do nothing.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.